The power of the blessing. Genesis 1 verse 28. And God blessed them, and God said unto them, Be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. When the blessing of God comes upon your life, you become unusually productive. You cannot be retrenched or fired for redundancy. The blessing imparts the supernatural force for the commencement of a new beginning. One of the most powerful forces on earth is the force of the blessing. The blessing of God is behind the making of great men, both in the scriptures and in contemporary times. Men like Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Joseph, Job, etc. were made by the blessing of God. Abraham, after God called him, was seen as a symbol of generational blessings. Genesis 22 verses 17 and 18 says, That in blessing I will bless thee, and in multiplying I will multiply thy seed as the stars of heaven, and as the sand which is upon the seashore. And thy seed shall possess the gates of his enemies. And in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice. Galatians 4:28 says, Now we, brethren, as Isaac was, are the children of promise. This means that we are part of that generational blessing based on God's promise to Abraham. Now Jesus came to release that promised blessing to us, as seen in Galatians 3 verse 14, which says that the blessing of Abraham might come on the Gentiles through Jesus Christ, that we might receive the promise of the Spirit through faith. This is clearly stated again in Acts 3 verse 26, which says, Unto you first God, having raised up his Son Jesus, sent him to bless you, in turning away every one of you from his iniquities. Now what is the power of the blessing? 1. The blessing imparts the supernatural force for the commencement of a new beginning. This is why in the beginning, it was not money or certificates that God gave Adam, but the blessing. So the blessing imparts the supernatural force for the commencement of a new beginning. 2. The blessing imparts the supernatural force for the activation of potential and the exhibition of productivity. Genesis 1:28. Be fruitful and multiply implies the activation of potential and exhibition of productivity. This means when the blessing of God comes upon your life, what you carry inside of you comes out. When the blessing of God comes upon your life, you become unusually productive. You cannot be retrenched or fired for redundancy. 3. The blessing imparts the supernatural force that positions people for generational influence and impact. Genesis 1 verse 28. And replenish the earth means influence your world. When a man is blessed, he cannot be an onlooker or a spectator in life, but an active participant. The blessing of God makes you a force to reckon with. It makes you a generational influence like Abraham and Isaac. When you are blessed, whatever your profession or career is, your generation can't claim ignorance of your existence. 4. The blessing positions the blessed in the realm of authority and dominion. Genesis 1:28. And have dominion implies existence in the realm of authority and dominion. This means a blessed man cannot end a loser in life or end in defeat. A blessed person is a man or woman in charge wherever you find him or her. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Joseph were in charge in their time because the blessing was upon them. Beloved, make up your mind to go for the blessing. Let the blessing be a reality in your life. Determine to function in the blessing. Be determined to function in the blessing of God for your life. Make demands on God for the release of the blessing in your life. Be involved in the practice of the covenant to attract the blessing of God. Grace, and stay blessed.